Happy Wednesday! You are on the Heart of Success show, and I'm your host, Larissa Vakulina. I go live every Wednesday at 2 p.m. South Australian time zone. And here on this show, I'm sharing with you different experiences, knowledge. I'm inviting guests sometimes here, and we trying to really deeply understand what success really means. Here we try to redefine success, and a lot of people now asking and checking with themselves, is success really means to have what we want, to accumulate wealth or become some important roles, or what really success means. And so here on this show, we try to unravel all of these ideas about how can we become successful in all areas of our life, in all areas of our human experience. So today I wanted to share with you my own personal journey of connecting to nature, because what really is happening with all our inventions of the technology, of the artificial materials, all of the tools and automation and all of that technological advances, we kind of losing ourselves and we cutting ourselves from the most important connection there is. So I often talk on my show about connecting to the selves, but really it is so hard for the modern human beings to just connect to themselves, because we are so much involved in projecting ourselves into external world, and we really look at that external justification of our own worthiness. And today I wanted to share with you how connecting to nature really can help us and facilitate our connection to ourselves. So this is something that we kind of looking at a very surfaced, fragmented way. I know we all have this inner desire to, regularly go on nature. We love to spend some time on grass, surrounded by trees, and maybe in the nature with, swimming in the ocean or being near lakes and all this natural environment. We longing for it. We want to have that connection. But what I noticed, that a lot of people, even being in nature, they're not able to have that authentic presence with nature. And I'm observing yet again this very limited perception of how who we are. So because we don't really understand who we really are, and that's how we have this fragmented, I call it a cognitive fracture. So we basically very externally moving in our life, and the desire to be in nature is understandable. But when people in nature, they still don't have ability to connect authentically, there is still this part of ourselves that is looking for the absolute ideal comfort within the natural environments and states. Well, we build in big, huge cities and conglomerates of these absolute humongous cities with millions of people living in small apartments, and the streets and all the regions and areas are basically all in concrete. So even there is some green areas and some natural reserves within the cities, it almost exists unnoticeable. It almost exists as a as a way of beautifying the city, but there is no real connection within our ourselves, because we're not connected to ourselves. How can we connect to anything else around us? So what I found is that connecting to nature is our nature, and the longing and strive to go and connect with nature is all within ourselves, and that can help us to connect with ourselves, right? So what I also found that we all been indoctrinated with the conviction that the more comfort we have, the better our lives are. So we constantly keep recreating and inventing devices, methods, technology, and everything that is helping us to create comfort. And that, to me, it seems like that imbalanced um, desire to have the comfort in all areas of our life. Like, if we go to to nature, we want comfort, we want and it's understandable, but where is the balance from creating total comfort that is actually stealing our cognitive and our emotional and spiritual development? It envelops us in that space of not wanting to go out of that comfort zone, and this is really creating a sort of mental, spiritual, and physical disability. I mean, I'm not talking about like disability, but it is constantly creating that comfortable existence, almost like, we developing ourselves within that space of our little apartments or the houses that that are, we think, protecting us from different fears, and that's why we actually getting sick, because when we are constantly looking for the ways of increasing our comfort, we slowly decreasing our ability for creativity within the nature. We disconnecting ourselves by worrying more and fearing more, living without comfort, rather than striving towards connecting to nature and finding ourselves as an integral part of that creation. So I was all my life involved in corporations. I had my own business where I was running so fast I didn't even notice that I was living near the seaside. It was that picture out of my window that I didn't even notice, because I was never present. I was never realized that just simply ground myself and even looking through the window, connecting to this beauty of the creation can serve me in such a much more deeper and better way, in terms of creating that support in my well-being. So I guess we all know, through the past of 2.5 years of being forced to be isolated in our apartments and in our different places where we live, we kind of start to think about the values of our life, of who we are and how it is so important to actually create that inner connection that we're losing with the more we creating and inventing technology, digitalization, virtualization of our reality, the less we are connecting to ourselves and everything naturally that surrounds us. And this is really a very harmful and damaging state to be in. And I think there is a tendency now that people want to be more on nature. They want to be spending more time. But you know what? Just visiting once or twice or three times a year some place in nature, not really gonna to connect you to yourself, especially when I'm observing how people, even when they come to a place like that, like I'm living on 89 acres of land and I'm running different events and basically just offering accommodation just to come and be enveloped by nature. There is still some people that are finding it very boring to actually be here, because I don't have any harmful technologies here for the guests to be connected to, not even a TV. So, and this is really challenging for some people, because the automatic living as most people live, with a constant stimulation of the technology, is the worst things to have. And places like Askara, like I created out of my own longing to be connected to nature, is something that people can really utilize for a little bit better awakening, for the better use, rather than to move from the city to here, to visit from the city to here, and feeling bored because there is no TV. So it's really is something that I found with more technological advances, we're moving more away and far from our nature, which is connecting to nature, is our nature. And where is the balance between all our creations of the technological advances, that some of them are very, very good, and all of the creations that we've done in this development of all the greatest technologies, how can we use it in a balanced way? Well, this is the question. And I mean, this is where we all need to connect to ourselves and choose what is resonating with us, because our brains can take information, but our consciousness actually can digest the information and choose what is resonating with you. And the ability, or I would say disability, that the human beings are allowed to happen, that we take information in our mind and we consider it as true, and we consider it as the only way that we are living our life. I just want to share with you that when I bought my property, it was very challenging. Move from comfortable a 500 square meters block that was ideally manicured with the beautiful garden to the 40 hectares of land was very challenging. I needed to learn how I can be one with this nature that is created a lot of discomfort. For example, there's no concrete road. So I need to take care of that road, or be okay and accept that there is some dust. when I'm driving. So there's all of these things needs to be somehow learned within yourself. And the more we try to eliminate any discomfort from our life, the less we become vital in our life, the less we maintain our health, the less we actually can create something that would be aligned with that natural creation of the greater higher imperative, right? So and out of that fear of losing comfort, a lot of people go against their own longings to connect to nature in a true sense of it, because they illusionary think that if they will connect to their purpose, to their life task, they know they need to change their life, which is up to a total comfort, right? So there would be some aspect of discomfort when you change your life, but that can bring you so much of vitality. I experienced it myself. When I moved here, I had some animals on my paddocks which I have no idea how to look after. I just thought, okay, there's some little young bulls that is grazing grass, and they know what to do. So yes, but of course, they found some damaged fence and they went out. So it is discomfort. So I found myself at night having a call from neighbors saying that my bulls get out of the paddock, and they actually on a road. So what do you do? Yes, of course, this is I took responsibility to be living with nature on land, and I need to bear that discomfort. So I get up, I got on my gator, I start to look and search for these bulls. We found them, we get them back into the paddock. But the price of that discomfort is nothing for the dullness, for the almost like dead reality that people living in a total comfort of suppressing their own dreams and purpose and life task. So this is really is something that I wanted to share with you today. And it doesn't matter, and regardless of the size of your connection to the nature, it teaches you connect to yourself. It teaches you to be present with yourself, because most of us, we live in an autopilot. We wake up, we brush our teeth, we don't even have this conscious presence of the moment what we're doing. And then nature is teaching us how to be present, how to connect to yourself, and that connection to yourself and that external creation is is so beautiful, and it is so supportive, and it actually creates such a coherent existence that it influence and affects our health in a very, very positive way. I just want to share with you a little observation I did when I traveled back in Russia, and I was staying in a small apartment in St. Petersburg with my friend, and she was just telling me how she created a very intimate and beautiful relationship with a little plant, which is little rose, that she ended up to be having after visiting her mother's place. And when her mother passed away, she was sorting out her mother's things, and she found that pot of plant, the rose, that was actually abundant. And she took it with her to St. Petersburg, and she started to take care of it. And she started to see this little aliveness, that little green leaves that start to come up from her care of it. And that was immense joy for her to see that plant responded to her care in such a way, and the plant was growing and giving flowers, and it's blossoming most of the time. And every time she goes anywhere and travels, she takes that plant with her. And how that changed her life, how that brought her connection to herself, is absolutely amazing and beautiful, because she started to see everything around her. She started to be in the moment, and she started to have awareness and conscious connections to the things and everything and everyone around her. That little abundant plant taught her how she can connect to herself. And regardless of the size, 40 hectares of the forests or lakes or anything, or just little small plant in on your desk, that's the lesson we all are able to learn. And it has to be conscious. We cannot connect to anything if we just unconsciously, automatically doing things and running our businesses and living our life without that conscious connection. So thank you so much. I would like to finish for today. I really wish you start to experiment with anything that is alive, with animals. I know animals are a special, they have special place in our lives because they just unconditionally love us, but experiment with plants as well. And the most important thing is start to connect to yourself, start to really feel what you know and know what you feel. Because when you know what you feel and feel what you know, this is your intuition. This is your intuition. But most of us, we numbing our feelings exactly because we're afraid to lose that illusionary comfort and pleasure that was created by someone else external to you. So please connect to yourself. Let's listen to music, and I'll come back to you next week on Wednesday at 2 p.m. With some other topic. Thank you so much for your support.